Last year at the conference that we held in ProPac Asia, I made quite a number of comments about the recession that we were still in the midst of, and it's pleasing to see now that 1 year hence we are hopefully we are all coming out of recession very well, and indeed as an industry and a region, I think we are leading the way, and it's very pleasing to see Asia Pacific, with the exception of Japan, and hopefully their issues will be soon solved, leading the global recovery. We always knew that we would come out of recession, and it's pleasing to see that we're all still here. Just a bit about our company, when we have this kind of recessionary impact, we very much focus inwardly. Okay, growth is what growth is. Indeed, quite often it's a negative growth. Plastics and indeed packaging, the wider packaging industry, we still face some quite tough problems. You know, we need talented people in this industry, and you know, we all have to face the same issues and work hard to overcome those issues. You know, each year it gets tougher and tougher to make money, and each year it gets tougher and tougher to supply the customer. And we know how difficult the customer can be, and also on how unreasonable the customer can be. Cost effectiveness is the next big thing. Customers expect it at a lower cost year on year, and they expect added features and added benefits at no cost, indeed a lower cost. And it's a feature of our industry that when I started a number of years ago, it seemed quite tough then, but compared to now, it was like a walk in the park. And I'm sure when the younger members amongst us get to my age, I'm sure that you look back on these times and you will reflect, wow, this was an easy time. So everything is relative, and we're in a race that we all run together. And the important thing to remember is that we all suffer the same conditions, and we all suffer in the same environmental conditions. And therefore it's a race, and what you have to be is ahead of the guy behind you. If you're ahead of the guy behind you, then he gets eaten by the tiger, not you. So that's very much the way that I tend to look at business. Regulatory compliance, you see a lot of increasing demand, particularly in Asia. I came here 5 years ago, and in the last 5 years I've seen a huge increase, and I would call improvement in our industry, where regulatory controls are becoming more and more stringent and more prevalent. Even in China, where we have a big business, I'm really pleased to see that the Chinese government is very strong on regulatory compliance, and they have a tough job, a very tough job. It's a very tough marketplace, but the ground rules are there. Now it's enforcement, but in general, we all have to face this burden, but it's also a very big benefit for us, because we all want to be very professional companies and honourable and just very professional, and regulatory compliance is an essential part of that. Okay, moving on, I'm quite excited to see the depth and the exciting presentations over the next couple of days. Opportunity for you to ask questions. If you could allow the presenter to finish the presentation, and then we'll have a question and answer session afterwards. Now, each person is only limited to 5 questions each, okay? So no more than 5 questions each, okay? And no jumping up and down, waving your arm, saying, I got another 10. It's not no more than 5, okay? But it's always a challenge to get questions. But please feel free, and please feel relaxed. This is not too formal. We want it to be relaxed. We want it to have a little bit of fun as well. I want to introduce the first speaker. He's a very good friend of mine. In fact, I've known him all my life, and in fact, we've shared many hardships and many successes. And he's going to speak on innovation. Okay, so I would like to introduce myself, Ashley Jones. Okay, I'm going to speak on innovation. I always find it very difficult to gain traction and gain an opening statement, so I'm trying to wake people up this morning by showing something a little more interesting than listening to me talk. And you see a very attractive young lady there on the screen. And I would like to ask a question of you all. Could the people that see her rotating clockwise, could I ask you to put your right arm up? If you see her rotating clockwise. Okay? Okay, so the difficult ones. Keep it up, keep it up. And then the ones that see it anti-clockwise, can you raise the other hand, please? Okay. And is there anybody who can see both? Okay, gentleman at the back. Can we make a note of that gentleman's name? Can I have his business card, okay? Because these people are very special because you can see both, okay? And actually, if you concentrate hard, you can see both, okay? But it does show a little fun, but it shows a serious point that basically, if you see it rotate one direction, you're using one side of the brain, and if you see it the other direction, you use the other side of the brain, okay? So we have two sides of the brain. We have the logical and mathematical reasoning side, and also we have the creative side, okay? And if you are looking at if you saw the lady traveling one direction, you were using the creative side, and then the opposite on the other side. And it predominantly, you are one or the other, or we are one or the other, because it's exactly the same for me. But when we come to innovation, okay, we have to be careful of which side of the brain that we employ people to do creativeness, okay? Because I'm going to talk about something a little bit strange a little bit later on, and I want to challenge our thinking. It's easy to keep doing the things we've always done, and particularly people like me who've been in the industry a long time. It's never going to work. We're going to stick with the tried and tested, proven methods. But it's not always the right way, and it doesn't always bring the desired impact. And particularly if you're looking to make a big impact on innovation, you have to think differently. So my presentation is about creativity in innovation. Okay? And we, as a plastic closure manufacturer, even though I think it's the most exciting business in the world, when I talk to my friends in Singapore, they don't find plastic closures exciting. I never understand that. Okay? But for them, it's not exciting. For me, it is exciting. But nevertheless, we have to be very creative. And as a company, Global Closure Systems, and I'll explain who we are in a minute because probably nobody's ever heard of us. Then I will explain a little bit about how we've had to change. Because most of our people in our company are engineers. And it's very good, but also it can be very bad because we're all restricted by our partners. Okay, so I'm going to talk about a little bit about my company, only 3 or 4 slides, so please stay awake for those slides. Then I'll talk a little bit about myself, history, innovation, and then I'm going to talk about our step change and what we're trying to do. I'm not here to tell you how we make closures, and there's things on here that I don't want anybody to have, so forgive me, that's why you don't have a presentation on your disc, because I'm talking about innovation and it can be used against me, okay, as I'm my company, so clearly I have to be very careful and cautious. But nevertheless, we've had to change the way we do things. So first of all, let's get the commercial over with. We have 6 brands. Many of our suppliers are here today, Baruch and Polyone. And I was talking to PK Lee earlier, and she said, I've never heard of GCS. I said, but you would have heard of Xella Plastic. Oh yes, I have a slide on Xella Plastic. So in her presentation, she has my company, and yet she doesn't know my company. So we tend to be very good at keeping secrets, and we don't tell the industry exactly who we are. But we have 6 brands, sorry, and it's a very historical company. We have over 100 years in the industry. We first started in 1884, okay? I think that was before everybody was born, I think, yep. So a long time ago. We have 25 production sites, serving over 100 countries. We produce about 40 billion closures a year. We are a very innovative company. Our company invented the hinge closure. And I'll show you some slides later on of the first hinge closure we made and the drawings that we made. And indeed the difficulties that we faced trying to get that innovation into the market. Because people were so used to using their hand to unscrew the closure, When we introduced the hinge closure, they kept on and unscrewing the closure, okay, despite the feature being there. Also, we invented the carbonated soft drink closure, which today everybody benefits from, and indeed everybody has copied along with the patent which is expired on the hinge closure. But we're very proud of our heritage in the industry. I'm very proud to have played a part in that history. Our sales are about just shy of $1 billion US a year, and we have about 3,500 employees. And in Asia, we've been here for 28 years. So we're not here in the last 5 years, and we're not here because of the boom. We were here a long time ago. We see this as a long-term partnership for us. And we have a number of food standards in Asia, which we, again, I mentioned regulatory compliance, which we're very proud of, and enabled us to enter new markets for us. We have sites all over the world, 2 in the US. We recently divested 2 of our factories in North America, and we have 3 factories in Asia. But you can see that we dominate Europe. We're very much a European business, which has many benefits, but also some disadvantages as well. Here's some of the pictures of our history. In 1884, one of our brands were born, Bender, and they started making corks for the wine industry in Germany. In 1925, United Closures, or UCP, opened in London under a different name, again producing beverage closures. 1949, Zella Plastic was formed by a number of friends in the Mosel Valley in Germany. And in 1963, we first started production of the carbonated soft drink closure in Switzerland. So our history goes back a long way. I'm pleased to say I'm not in the picture, but it does go back a long way. Okay, so just to give you some understanding of the credibility that we have in our industry, this is the first ever hinge closure that was made. Quite innovative, very innovative at the time, and for 20 years we enjoyed the patent. It was wonderful. We could charge what we wanted, we made what we wanted. If you didn't like it, too bad, we'll sell it somewhere else. We don't have that privilege anymore. We invented it. After 20 years, it becomes open to everybody, and there are a lot of good people doing a very good job competing with us, and we have to work very hard to keep our position. But here we have the first ever hinge closure, and you can see in this side the two closures here. We had to communicate to the marketplace how to use this closure. It seems ironic, it seems very silly now to look back and think, my God, it's obvious, it's a plastic closure, you open it with a hinge. But you can imagine if all your life you've been unscrewing the bottle to get the shampoo or to get the sauce, and suddenly they've had a dispensing closure to flip it open. So it's not just inventing the closure, you have to also educate the market, and you also have to educate the consumer. So quite a funny little story there. The hinge closures developed quite a lot over the years, but fundamentally is the same basic design. We're very, very proud and delighted that these people trust us, and it's always a challenge to serve your customers. And these people are very demanding, along with all our local and regional customers, and we're delighted to have their support. And what's important for us is that no single customer represents more than 6% of our business. So we are a very stable business and risk averse. Okay, most of the products that we see in the marketplace today look pretty much the same. If you go to any supermarket, anywhere in the world, any department store, you'll see these products all over the place. Okay. In our industry, you see the packaging. You can see just on the shelf, and I've just taken this picture when I was in France recently, and you can see there's some differentiation. Look, there's some green, there's some blue, and one's got a handle, one's not got a handle. One's slightly taller than the other, one's slightly wider than the other. But don't they all look the same? Yeah? Don't they all look the same? Irons, okay, I'm a very good ironer, actually. But, again, if I go to buy them, I can have one with a handle, I can have one with a blue cover, one with a cable. I can sometimes get them without the cable, but they all look the same. Yeah? So where is the innovation coming from? Are we just doing a me too? And this is my favorite one. As you can see, they're all very different. Huh? You can have a yellow one, you can have a red one, okay? But they're all very, very similar. So there's no room for innovation, yeah? There's no room for differentiation. We're all fighting for volume, we're all fighting for brand. With our brand identity, we're all fighting on cost. And then every now and again, something special comes along and changes the picture. Okay? And here we have the Dyson vacuum cleaner. Now, fundamentally, it's the same product. It sucks air and it deposits dust into a chamber. They had to move, and they've expanded there now, the branding. They've moved, okay? And again, you see this everywhere now. Lots of people have done this. So what was an oblique vision 10 years ago is now normal again, okay? It happens. You have to move on. But everybody is doing this now. But they do it in a different way. And I think as an industry, there's a lot we can learn from this. Okay, but it's a bit scary, huh? Going into the future, doing something different. Let's forget 33 years in the industry. Let's do something different. Ooh, very scary. But we have to understand the consumer. We have to understand how she or he uses the product. To go forward with a crazy idea is stupid. There has to be the reality. There has to be that deep understanding. So this is not 5 people sitting there thinking of crazy ideas and coming out with something that never works. Okay, we have to look at this as a practical application. And so we have to understand how the consumer uses the product. This is one of our closures that actually never made it into production. Okay, but this is an example of what we call the oblique view. This product is a water closure, and it was meant for the North American gym set. So the people, they go to the gym, they come out sweating, they need water, they need to get water down their throat very fast. So we came up with something that had a wide aperture and was able to allow the water to enter their body very fast. But the big problem is that the closure kept hitting the person's nose all the time when he was trying to drink it. So we came up with this need for a locking mechanism. And as you can see there, there's like a serrated edge, okay? And again, remember what I said earlier, don't look within your industry for the solution. And we didn't. And where we got this idea from was this product. In the UK, we call these stickle bricks, okay? Where you sort of push them together and they interlock. We got the idea from there, not from our industry, okay? Not from our industry. This one is another example of outside. I think that one of the buzzwords is think outside the box. I don't know. But this one, this is for a chunky sauce. Another one, this is a push and turn. Excuse me. And somebody was looking at the light bulb and thought, oh, okay, we'll send the light bulb. And they come up with an idea to try and actually, again, none of these have worked, okay? So I'm only showing you the things that have failed, okay? But it's the concept that's important. But you can see that by creating a lever, it's then easy to take the closure off, okay? So different solutions inspired outside our field of experience and field of understanding. This one I particularly like, and I showed this last year at the Chinese Edible Oil Conference in Beijing, and I had a lot of interest on these kind of closures. This is a high value edible oil, olive oil, sells for a huge amount of money in the UK, in Europe, and I think is also very sophisticated also here in Asia. And you can see it's inspired by a child's toy, we call it a seesaw. Okay, it's a seesaw, and simply when the bottle is inverted, the lever comes down, it opens the aperture, allows the oil to come out, and it comes out in a very even way. Because when you pay a lot of money for something, it has to look aesthetically pleasing. It has to be emotionally satisfying. You don't pay a lot of money and then want to be disappointed. So the pouring characteristics are also very important to us as well. The way it comes out of the bottle. And this one, have you ever been in a rainforest when it starts to rain heavily? You will find some leaves are perfectly shaped to allow like a fountain to come through, okay? And again, the ideas comes from the pouring characteristics that's come from nature, okay? So many good ideas. But that's the right side of the brain. That's very creative, it's fun. But at the end of the day, we're not here to have fun. We're here to make money. Okay, and we have to, how can I say, manage the projects. So we come up with the idea. We have to look at the concept. We have to understand the function. They understand the way that the consumer uses it. And then we have to make it reality. So we have things like pipelines, all the same kind of project controls that I'm sure your company has as well. But very important. Okay, so I don't just want to talk in concepts, I want to talk in what we've actually done as well. I don't know if you've seen this product, Procter & Gamble. It's a low temperature liquid wash like a gel wash for clothes. I think it operates around 15 degrees C. And it's very, very popular now.